The opinions expressed in the following paid program do not necessarily represent those of WJZ AM 1300, CBS Radio, its employees and sponsors.
Hi, everybody. This is the voice of the Terrapins, Johnny Holiday. You're listening to Terp Talk with Bruce Posner.
This is Coons Ford Terp Talk with Bruce Posner. 60 minutes of Maryland athletics and your phone calls at 410-481-1300. Now, here's Bruce Posner and Terp Talk.
Well, Monday night, the Maryland baseball season came to an end. But let's be real, the season did not end at failure. It just ended. That this band of brothers thrilled every Maryland fan of the nation with its valiant run that just fell one game short of the World Series. Hats off to the coaching staff, the seniors, and the entire team for an absolutely tremendous season. And here to talk to me about it is the father of a future member of the Terrapin Nine, the much highly recruited David Jacklich, who decided to go to Maryland. And this is a guy who's been following baseball for a long time. And that, of course, is my buddy Rick Jacklich. Rick, I know it had to thrill you when David committed to Maryland a few months back.
Yeah, Bruce, it's amazing when you see a kid that always dreamed about playing in a Terp jersey, and then had a chance to have that dream come true. And I can't give enough credit to Bernie Walter, to the prior coaching staff at Maryland, to Coach Sheff, to Kevin Anderson, that pushed so hard to make that happen. It's a dream come true for my son. And I'll tell you, it's something that wouldn't have happened if Maryland baseball hadn't gotten a lot better than what they were. Yeah, he thought about playing as a Terp from the time he was 6, and he talked about that. And, as he's 12 and 13 and 14, it's, well, maybe College of Charleston or maybe Tampa, which had, gotten letters from as a kid. And they had such a better program. But now, Bruce, it's so great to see Maryland have a top-notch baseball program. It's awesome.
We talk about style and we talk about substance. And certainly the former baseball coach, Eric Bakich, had all the style. But John Sheff, to me, has all the substance in the world. Talk about John Sheff as the job he did this year and what made you and your son, or certainly your son, decide to go to Maryland because of John.
He absolutely did, and not only John, but Matt Swope is the director of baseball operations. And, David is the John Sheff type of ball player. Bernie Walter, who'd seen David play since he was 10, told my wife, I'll give the exact quote, David's skills give them Woodies at Maryland because he's fast, he's got the great glove, he's always on base, he's always stealing the base, he's always taking the extra base. And he's a great bunter, and he finds a way to score. And that's what Maryland baseball is under Sheff. It's a small ball type of team that finds a way to score runs when, you're in a tight ball game. And they just, what a great run through the end of this year from the Notre Dame series, from the ACC tournament, NCAA winning the regional. It's just been awesome, Bruce.
Again, we're talking to Rick Jacklich, big-time baseball fan of Maryland, whose son will be playing for Maryland next year. And I tell you what I love, because I have talked to you about it, he's got a tremendous recruiting class, but he's not going to have to force everybody into action right away. He's got depth coming back next year, and he's got players coming back where you're not going to be throwing freshmen into the mix when maybe they should have more of an adjustment period. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely, and a lot of the freshmen have already been told, hey, don't be surprised if you come in and sit behind a Charlie White, even if you're a Troy Stokes, who's a superstar at Calvert Hall, has played with Dave on a national championship team at 11. They got a great catcher in Morris coming in from DeMatha. I mean, he's a superstar future pro, that's going to come in and may not play right away. The big loss for Maryland off this year's team is Stinnett, their ace. But Bruce, he wasn't a pitcher when he came to Maryland. He was the third baseman that they converted to pitching. So they got a lot of depth coming back, and they have a tremendous, tremendous class come in, high IQ players, and the class fits the coaching staff, which is a great thing to see.
Yeah, Stinnett, of course, Jake Stinnett. I felt Rick, I really thought he got the season off to a great start with the no-hitter and the one-hitter and just dominating whenever he was on the mound. But let me tell you something, okay? I truly believe that this team, they say, well, it had a few seniors on it, like Stinnett, that were Bakic's guys. But for the most part, they were Chef's guys. And I really believe they bought into his brand of small ball and stealing and never giving up, never being out of the game. They had so many come from behind wins, and it never hurts to have a great closer like they had with Mooney. And the team just was so well-rounded that every time they took the field at the end, you kind of thought they were going to win until they really met up with a juggernaut. And let's be real, Virginia is a juggernaut.
Top 3 team in the country. But you get a little spoiled, Bruce. You get a little greedy because you beat a Florida State. You beat a Virginia who's ranked 3. You sweep an NC State, which is ranked 10 or 11 at the time. You beat South Carolina on their home field twice. And you say, wow, this maybe is the team of destiny. Get within 1 game of Omaha, and boy, just so close. Just so close.
I know, Rick, and I know everybody's, disappointed, but you can't be disappointed. This is a team that hadn't been in the playoffs for 43 years. 43 years.
And Bruce, now can you not be disappointed? What's amazing is baseball in Maryland now is part of sports conversation. Wherever you go, people in the last couple of weeks have been talking about Maryland baseball. That hasn't happened for more than 43 years, I guarantee it.
I got to tell you, on Monday, the day of the final game, every Terrapin fan in this state and probably in the nation was glued to that television. I mean, it's all people were talking about. It's all my friends were talking about. Of course, me and you were getting ready to go to Omaha, but that's another story.
Well, next year.
Well, there's no doubt. There's no doubt. With the Jacklets on the team, within 4 years, we're going to Omaha, and I'm going with you, brother, because, we got a long way to go with that. But I have to tell you, I really believe in Chef, and I just love the way the team played, and the way when they won, they weren't like each win could have been an ultimate celebration, but it wasn't. They really were focused. And
I have to agree. And that's lets you win those close ball games. And Bruce, it was such a magical year, and there's such a great future for Maryland baseball. It's just so exciting.
Let me run this by you. Let me run this by you, Rick. I think for years, this is just my opinion now, that Maryland suffered by being, for the most part, besides Boston College, the northernmost baseball team in a Southern-type conference.
I agree 100%.
But now, going to the Big Ten, I'm not sure if – I do believe – are they the southernmost team? They're now if not, maybe is Nebraska lower? I don't know. But they're now one of the southernmost teams in a northern conference. And I think
that's going to help them. It's going to help them in recruiting. It's going to help them in everything. And I think, Bruce, that Maryland baseball will benefit more than any other Maryland team in the switch of conferences. You go into a Big Ten and you're getting away from Virginia, North Carolina, NC State, which was ranked in the top 10, Florida State, Wake Forest, Georgia Tech. They all have excellent teams. So I think Maryland baseball will benefit the most from the switch to the Big Ten.
All right, let's talk about that switch to the Big Ten, Rick. You know about the big events that are happening on June 30th and July 1st, mostly a celebration. And, of course, the Big Ten Network is going to dedicate itself to a day on Maryland. And talk about your reflections. Now, see, me, I'm an old-timer, and I said good riddance to the ACC. I've had enough. It just wasn't working for us, besides the money and all that stuff. But I really look forward to a change.
I did too, Bruce. I'm not going to miss the ACC. I really won't. I mean, how many Carolina refs can you put up with? How many years can you be in a league that doesn't appreciate Maryland? And the league always got more out of Maryland than Maryland ever got out of the ACC. And, I went to this event last year at Congressional, and they had the Big Ten commissioner in, Jim Delaney. He started talking. Bruce, he was 30 seconds into a talk, and I turned to the guy next to me and said, this guy gets it. He understands how crucial Maryland is because of geography, because of TV sets, because of so many things that Maryland brings to the table in the revenue and the non-revenue sports. I'm excited about the move. I'm not going to miss the Carolina obnoxiousness. You know, you talk about my son David. I took him when he was 6 years old to the Carolina Inn for a Terrapin Club event. We're in there. We're getting a tour from Carolina people. They're trying to be as nice as can be. I get this tug on my arm from a 6-year-old kid, and he says, Dad, they think they're better than we are. And my response was, you're right, they do. And that was always the feeling down in that Carolina Conference, Bruce. I'm not going to miss it. I'm looking forward to the Big Ten. I'm looking forward to the basketball tournament being in Washington and New York and Chicago. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, you know, they still believe, even this year, that Greensboro is a neutral venue. I swear to you, Rick, they honestly believe it's neutral.
I know, and it is neutral because it's in the middle of the 4 Carolina schools.
Yeah, it's neutral for Carolina.
Of course. And, you know, I was always frustrated back when there were 7 teams in the conference that it seemed like every vote was 4-3. But when they expanded to 9 teams, it was like, you guys can't count. You know, and even, Bruce, it just shows you the Carolina bias in that conference. When they expanded, Virginia got pressure from their governor. They could only vote for expansion if they voted for Virginia Tech. Right? Carolina and Duke can count. They know they had the votes to expand. So then the issue was, okay, we're going to expand to the New York TV market with Syracuse, or they're going to expand to the Blacksburg, Virginia TV market with Virginia Tech. And they voted in Tech. And to me, that was a death knell of that conference.
Well, you know, the old A-team ACC, there really was nothing like it. And from the day that ended, it was never the same. It just wasn't. And the mere fact that Maryland never played Virginia in baseball until the ACC tournament says it all. It just... It doesn't. Yeah, it didn't make any sense, and maybe it was an advantage to Maryland. I don't know, but who cares? You still want to play everybody. Rick, the lawsuit. Is it now? From what I understand, it's in arbitration right now, or where's it? Or mediation?
It's in mediation, and mediation is designed to bring a neutral party in to get each side together to talk about settlement. So it's a no lose proposition to sit and listen to what the other side wants to offer. So if you have a very good mediator, the case should settle.
I think everybody wants the case to settle, you know, when the move is made, to have it behind everybody. I would think. Nobody wants this to linger because there's lawsuits coming from Maryland against the ACC, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, as a lawyer, you're happy if the case settles, if it settles at the right figure. The ACC is holding a lot of Maryland money illegally, and the exit fee is absurd. I mean, it's just totally absurd. So, yeah, it's great to settle the case if you get it settled for the right number.
Certainly, but there's just so much to look forward to, and we're both excited about football. You know, Rick, maybe you could step in and get some money to dress up Bob Turtle Stadium a little bit. I really think it needs it, don't you think?
Well, you know, a month ago, Bruce, Shipley Field and Turtle Stadium wasn't going to stay there. You know, baseball was going to move and probably play 2 years up in Bowie to Bowie Bay Sox. And the Performance Center indoor facility was going to go right where Shipley Field was. Now, in the last couple of weeks, that's changed. The indoor facility is going to go where Cole Fieldhouse is, and Shipley is going to stay right where it is. And I think you will see some money put into that field again.
Let me tell you something. That would have been a horrible move to move Shipley. It'd be like moving Fenway Park, all right? That's a part of the campus. And I remember when I went to Maryland, and I'll still talk about it, you know, going from class to class and maybe sitting one out to watch the baseball team. And back then they didn't play in January when it was 9 degrees. But but anyway, it's, you know, it's just so great to have baseball part of the discussion. And I'm not going to kid you. I'm not I've never been a huge baseball fan. I always go to 3 or 4 games a year, but they've never won. And it does take winning to turn your interest, which I think is a reason that a lot of the non-revenue sports do so well in Maryland, because virtually they all win. And now there's one more. Yeah, it just
exactly.
It just
shows you how important coaching is, Bruce. And that's, you say, hey, what do the non-revenue sports have in common? It's quality coaching. Well, guess what? The revenue sports have that too. Turgeon's going to win. Etzel's going to win. People just have to keep the faith and let these guys win. They will.
Yeah, you know what? I say that all the time, and enough's been said about all that. It's been a strange year for basketball, and Randy certainly going 7-6, had a good year, turned it around. And I tell you this much, Rick, and I firmly believe it. I think Randy's going to surprise, and the Terps are going to surprise a lot of teams this year, because their skill guys they just don't end. They really don't. They can
keep CJ in one piece, Bruce. You're right.
I'm just thoroughly excited about it, and what a schedule. But the main thing about football is, Rick, it just finally feels like we're playing big-time football. It just, and I don't think it ever has. Once a year, maybe Florida State would come in or Clemson, and those games had the sense of being big-time games. But that's it. That's really it, and that's sad to say. But when Michigan State and Ohio State and Penn State and Michigan and Wisconsin and Iowa come in, listen, we're going to get better because we have to get better. And I think
that place is going to be rocking, Bruce. That stadium is going to be a fun place to be.
And we know that ticket sales are up. Why they're not totally gobbled up, I guess it's a matter of time. But that's another.
Bruce, I want your listeners just to go online. Just go on. UMTerps.com and look at the price of season tickets for the Terps, and then compare that to what they're paying for the Ravens and the Redskins.
It's ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous. A friend of mine bought 2 season tickets. I helped him get them, and he said, "How much do I owe you, Bruce?" I said $550. He said $550. Isn't that just for the Ohio State game? I said, no, that's for the season. And it's a joke. It really is. When you consider what you pay to go to a Ravens game. And forget the concessions and parking and everything else.
Exactly. And you still get great seats. If you call Maryland right now, you'll still get a great seat. It's amazing.
It's only 50,000 seats in the joint, so there's really no bad seats per se. So, that's another story, and we can't make people go. It's their problem if they don't go. It's a major mistake. But they have sold more tickets. It definitely has spiked up so far, 15 to 20%, and most people won't really get into it probably to the middle of the summer. But Rick, me and you've been into it for a long time, buddy. All right, I got to go. Got to hit the break. I promised 10 minutes, and of course we went 20. But that's old news, right?
It's easy talking Terps, isn't it, Bruce?
Always. Rick, thanks a lot for calling out. I really appreciate it.
You're the best, Bruce. Thanks, buddy.
All right. This is Bruce Posner. Before we head out to that first break, the Chesapeake Bayhawks, they got to win Saturday. They're going into this game against Boston Cannon and, of course, the face of the MLL, Paul Rabel, the great Paul Rabel, on Saturday at Navy Marine Corps Stadium at 7 o'clock. Just a great venue. They're still drawing great, even though they haven't been winning. But Joe Walters is back. Joe Walters led the Rochester Nighthawks to the MLL title. Joe Walters is back for the Bayhawks. And it's just time they got to start winning because the season's getting away from it. And I trust in Dave Cottle will find that formula. Again, 7 o'clock at Navy Marine Corps Stadium. What an unbelievable venue for lacrosse. I'll be there. We'll see you there. And this is Bruce Posner saying stay tuned. We'll be back in a few minutes here on CBS Sports Radio, 1300.
From the crash in the midday, the delays remain. Good evening. This traffic check is sponsored by your Baltimore area Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. It was eastbound 50 just across the main span of the Bay Bridge in the Eastern Shore. A very serious wreck that required one of the motorists involved to be sent to shock trauma. The eastbound 50 still seeing a backup off and on. It's trying to improve. 97 all the way in towards the main span. New issue in town, 25th at Harford closes. Further accident with reported injuries, possibly one rollover. Marriottsville Road still closed near Old Frederick. That was a crash from the beginning of the rush. 543 below 136. That's a Harford County wreck. In Bel Air Toll Gate and Bel Air South, a collision. Toyota dependability has a whole new personality. With some bold new designs and stunning interiors, smart and reliable is now a lot more fun to drive. Visit buyatoyota.com to check out great deals. Toyota. I'm Liz Drabick with traffic. CBS Sports Radio, 1300.
Kelly Exchange is your one-stop shop for individual and family health insurance coverage. On KellyExchange.com, you can learn about healthcare reform, find out if you qualify for a subsidy, get quotes, compare insurance plans, and purchase coverage. With over 36 years of experience in the insurance industry, KellyExchange.com is the only website you need to help you navigate the complexities and confusion of healthcare reform and purchase quality insurance for you and your family. Visit KellyExchange.com today.
My name is Mark Apple, and I'm a consumer bankruptcy attorney with Waldman, Grossfeld, Apple, and Bear. If you're afraid of losing your home, you're afraid of wages being garnished, call me, 410-437-7711, extension 4, and you'll get to my desk. We have offices located all around the Baltimore Beltway. Call me, Mark Apple, 410-437-7711, extension 4.
No one likes lawyers until they need one. But if you've dealt with an insurance company, you know that you're not in good hands, they're not good neighbors, and they're not on your side. I'm Mike Grossfeld. At Waldman, Grossfeld, Apple, and Bear, we've been protecting the rights of people for over 40 years. If you've been seriously injured in an accident, hurt on the job, or have suffered at the hands of a negligent doctor, call me, Mike Grossfeld, at 888-8-LEGAL-6. That's 888-8-LEGAL-6. We'll fight for you.
Isn't it time for your family to have the services of a financial planner? Call Rob Weissman, a chartered financial consultant. Rob has provided financial planning, investments, and insurance products to the Baltimore community for over 25 years. Rob will provide a free consultation, review your financial positions, and make recommendations. He will monitor your financial plan on an ongoing basis. Call Rob Weissman, 410-653-6260. Rob Weissman is a registered representative of Salmon Security Company, member FINRA SIPC. Baltimore, listen up. If you want crabs, you have to head to the Costas Inn on North Point Boulevard. There is no comparison in all of Maryland for the greatest crabs and crab cakes ever. Costas also serves unbelievable steamed shrimp, Greek salads, and steaks for lunch and dinner. Nick, Pete, and Costas Triantopoulos run the perfect restaurant to go with family and friends. Give Costas Inn a call at 410-477-1975 and tell them the Terp Talk guy sent you. Trust, honesty, integrity. That's the motto of Offit & Roth, PA, certified public accountants and business consultants. Clients of Offit & Roth get personalized quality service that is beyond comparison. Check out their extensive list of services at www.offitroth.com. Co-founder Alan Roth and his son Michael, a Maryland graduate, have extensive experience working with clients in virtually every industry. Call Offit & Roth at 410-356-6600. There's no better place in Baltimore to buy your new or used car from than Coons Ford on Security Boulevard, across from Security Mall. Over the years, I have purchased many cars and trucks for GM Dennis Colatzos, receiving the best price, service, and comfort in dealing with a top-notch executive. Coons Ford Terp Talk listeners can view their inventory at CoonsFordBaltimore.com. Coons Ford carries a huge inventory of Motor Trend's Car of the Year, the Fusion, Hybrid Escapes, the 35-mile-per-gallon Focus, Mustangs, Expeditions, and of course the F-Series trucks. Coons Ford simply likes to make a little bit of money many times. What a great place to buy your new Ford. That's Coons Ford of Baltimore, 6970 Security Boulevard across from Security Square Mall. Take exit 17 off of 695. Remember, when you're talking cars, you're talking Coons.
Call 410-298-3800.
Your first choice for filling prescriptions in the Baltimore area should be the James Pharmacy, a Health Mart pharmacy. As a Health Mart pharmacy, the James Pharmacy has a personal commitment to its communities, is locally owned, and the pharmacists know there is nothing more important than your family's well-being. Located for the last century at 1117 Light Street in Federal Hill, the James Pharmacy is owned and operated by Avi Pelta, a University of Maryland pharmacy school graduate. Though located in Federal Hill, the James Pharmacy delivers at no charge to the entire Baltimore metro area. Outside of Baltimore, no problem. The James Pharmacy will UPS your prescriptions on a moment's notice. Open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 to 3. Call the James Pharmacy, a Health Mart pharmacy at 410-752-5810. Remember, Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
Yeah, Coach kind of hit the nail on the head in the locker room. Pretty much, you risk getting your heart broken to go on a great journey with this team and the guys, and I wouldn't have traded anything in the world for these past 5 years.
Welcome back to Coons Ford Terp Talk. Call 410-481-1300 now. Once again, here's Bruce Posner.
Welcome back to segment 2, and that, of course, was our great goalie, Nico Amato, who finished his career on a sad note in that he didn't get to win that national title. But what the heck, 3 Final Fours in 4 years isn't too bad. And on the phone right now is another person who's celebrating in Terrapin Nation, and that, of course, is my buddy, Dennis Colatzos. Dennis, welcome in tonight.
Hey, Bruce, thanks for having me on.
Hey, Dennis, let me tell you something, all right? You had a graduation party for your kid the other day, and Christos, and besides being a great party, you definitely had the feeling. I should have had all my Terp gear on because it was a Terrapin celebration because Christos was accepted at the University of Maryland and starts his 4 years, in the fall. He's already got his place picked out. He was telling me about his courses, and wow, it was a happy Terrapin occasion that day, wasn't it?
It sure was, and there were a lot of Terrapins there at the event, and it was just, you could feel the love, and he's very much excited to join the Terp Nation. You know what I knew? I knew that Christos is a big Terp fan, always has been, all right? And, of course, I've helped contribute to that, I'll say proudly. But I knew he's for real when I walked into the party. And he said, Bruce, did you hear Chanichuk scored twice for Charlotte? I said, yeah. When he said that, man, I knew he was committed. You hear me? Yeah. I knew it. He's arrived for sure. No question about it.
Well, that's great. And you should be proud. You and Margot, you should be proud of the fact that he got in and he comes from such a great school in St. Paul's. And he is just overwhelmingly excited to be a Terp. And you, me, and Christos are going to have a lot of fun out in Maryland the next 4 years, without question.
It'll be a great 4, 5, 6, or 7 years.
Hey, why not? What's the rush? What's the rush?
I wish I could go with him.
That's right. You and me both. Dennis, again, I drive by Coons. It looks like you've been popping those pickup trucks out of there left and right. I didn't see as many as I have.
Yeah, the F-150, it's been America's best-selling vehicle for the last 37 years in a row. And this year, no exception. Moving real fast, great incentives on the hood. Ford Motor Company continues to get stronger. The incentives are there. The product is there. Top to bottom, we're loaded with inventory. 500 new vehicles in stock, cars and trucks, and about 150 pre-owned. So it's business is good, my friend.
Hey, that's great. And, of course, it's full service over at Coons with your shop and your body shop that, I've had experience with. Just phenomenal work there. And, you just keep on popping them out, Dennis. What's the hottest car right now?
Probably the F-150. It's just truck sales are strong, and the
The Mustang, of course, is very strong as well. The Escape still selling like a hot cake. And, Ford just has terrific products, still getting rave reviews. The vehicles are durable, fuel efficient. They're stylish. You have one, I have one. Margot's dropping a Mustang GT convertible that I can't get her out of. She says, please don't sell it. So it's good problems that we're having right now.
You certainly are. Dennis, thanks a lot for checking in. Real quick, Joe Flacco and Kubiak, is there a symbiosis there? It seems like there could be, because the receivers are all ecstatic from what I hear.
Yeah, Joe's had different coordinators through the years, so it's nice to finally have a guy who's been there, done that, understands. And I think with Gary Kubiak, the best thing he could do for Joe is fix that offensive line, fix the running game, and take some pressure up him. The guy got really beat up last year, and I still can't believe, like you, the flack that he's getting continuously from the media. What does the guy have to do? He's been durable. He's not a rah-rah guy, but he gets the job done.
You always have to take what the media says with a grain of salt. That includes me, and you, okay?
That's true.
All right, Dennis, thanks a lot for checking in again. Coons Ford, that's where it's happening. Get your new car or used car out there. And above all, you can bring your car in for service there, too. They love it.
That's right. Thanks a lot, my friend. Go Terps and go Ravens.
All right. Big breakthrough of sorts in this region this past week. You had the Fort Hill speedster, slot corner, kick returner, Ty Johnson, who helped Fort Hill to a 14-0 mark last season. And just over the state line at Frankfort High School in Ridgely, West Virginia, gunslinger Gage. What a great name. Gage Schaefer. These two guys have helped, again, Maryland reestablish those ties to the western part of the state. This guy Johnson, 5'10", 180, had 1,817 yards, 23 touchdowns at Fort Hill, and also had 10 interceptions at corner. Don't rule that out. And, of course, don't forget, Maryland also picked up Kieran Howard, a defensive tackle. This was a big gap in their lineup from Potomac and Oxon Hill. This guy is very, very, very highly thought of. Schaefer, the quarterback, a lot of people will think of Sam Hollaback a little bit. He's 6'7". He can really throw the ball. Quarterbacks are filling up at Maryland. Of course, CJ's in his last year, and I guess we'll get to see what happens. But after that, like I was talking about before, going into the Big Ten, Maryland is just stacked with skilled guys. When you look at the receiver position, with Stephon and Dion Long coming back and Marcus Leak and Jacobs, the two Jacob brothers, this doesn't stop. And I just don't see that in many Big Ten teams. I might see it in Ohio State, but Ohio State's going to give every Big Ten team a major headache. But so far, Randy has 6 commits. There's supposed to be 3 or 4 more down the road very, very soon. And his class is ranked 50. So as the commits grow, so will the ranking rise to a higher number or lower number, as the case may be. But it won't be long. Maryland starts off with their 4 out-of-conference games. I think James Madison and West Virginia, Syracuse, and is it Central Florida in Tampa. It's going to be tough to go 4-0 in those games, especially when you're going to Syracuse, having West Virginia at home, having James Madison at home. You play them one at a time, but it'd be a great way to get into the Big Ten. And from what I understand, the Big Ten logos are starting to go up out at College Park. All right, before we head out to break number 2, I want to tell you about the Big 3-on-3 basketball tournament run by Laurie Parson, a former Pikesville High School superstar. Played there for her 4 years, also played at Goucher, several schools, and Laurie was a heck of a player, but she's now on the general manager end of things, and she's running this 3-on-3 basketball tournament for boys and girls ages 8 to 18 at Patterson Park Youth Sports and Education Center on Linwood Avenue in Baltimore. It's sponsored by Shoe City and Baltimore City Parks Bureau of Parks and Recreation. $160 per team. The registration must be completed online. The site is sportspossibleforathletes.com. That's sportspossiblefораthletes.com. All participants must have a current AAU membership. To obtain membership to the AAU, visit www.aausports.org. And we know if the AAU is involved, we have a top-notch, top-level tournament here of 3-on-3. I'm sure there'll be tons of coaches there, college coaches for the older kids and high school coaches for the middle kids. But more than that, it'll be a lot of fun, and Laurie's doing a great job. Anyway, so phone number 443-924-9101. This is Bruce Posner. We'll be back in a few minutes here on CBS Sports Radio 1300.
Video gamers, save $10 off general admission tickets today to the region's only video gamer event, Video Gamers United, coming to the DC Convention Center August 16th and 17th. If you're hooked on Candy Crush, Words with Friends, and Minecraft, then don't miss the gaming event of the year. This event is the size of 4 football fields, jam-packed with amazing games and activities for the whole family, including a costume contest. Save $10 off each ticket today. Go to vgu.eventbrite.com. That's vgu.eventbrite.com before this offer is gone.
I just discovered a great little neighborhood gourmet pizza and Italian-type restaurant in the harbor area. Bagby Pizza on 1006 Fleet Street is just a great, fun place to have lunch or dinner 7 days a week. Bagby's features gourmet pizza, pastas, and salads at more than reasonable prices. Service is quick. There's plenty of seating. Happy hour specials Monday through Friday, 4 to 7 p.m. But most important, the food is superb. Bagby Pizza, 410-605-0444. Billy Shriver and Terry Aronson's Tark's Grill in Green Springs Station has taken the town by storm. Everyone says the food is superb. Great salads, burgers, and steaks, and the seafood dishes are beyond expectation. At Tark's, the menu includes everything from light fare on up. Once you go, you will fall in love with the food and fun atmosphere and the reasonable pricing of this upscale restaurant. Call 410-583-TARK for reservations. The Baltimore Neurosurgery and Spine Center, whose goal is to provide the highest quality of care to our patients. We strive to apply leading-edge treatment strategies, including complex spine or brain surgery, interventional pain management, and physical therapy. The group is led by Dr. Ira Garanzik, who is joined by Dr. James Conway, Dr. H. Christopher Lawson, Dr. James Frazier in the field of neurological and spine surgery. Dr. Seth Kaufman specializes in interventional pain management. Baltimore Neurosurgery and Spine Center is located at 5051 Green Spring Avenue. Call them for an appointment at 410-664-3680. That's 410-664-3680. When it's time to sell your house in the Baltimore area, there is no one better in the entire region than Harriet Wasserman and her entire marketing group. Harriet and her Prudential team are synonymous with sales success. The Wasserman team understands every facet of selling your house in this market. Call 410-458-5300 or check out their website at www.wassermanteam.com. Call Harriet Wasserman 410-458-5300.
If things in your life are looking blurry, there's only one place to go to see straight again, and that's Levin Eye Care. Dr. Howard Levin and Dr. Richard Levin, both University of Maryland alums, have 35 years of combined experience in serving the eye care needs of their patients. With 2 great offices in Perry Hall and Parkville, these doctors can address any concerns about your vision. Call 410-529-1950 to set up an appointment. Levin Eye Care accepts most medical insurance, including Medicare.
There's no better place in Baltimore to buy your new or used car than Coons Ford on Security Boulevard, across from Security Mall. Let's talk Coons pre-owned certified used cars. All of our listeners can buy with confidence. Coons Ford of Baltimore has an exclusive 7-day exchange policy. If for any reason whatsoever customers want to exchange a vehicle within 7 days, no problem. Coons Ford simply likes to make a little bit of money many times. That is why they take a lot of time to make sure we have the lowest priced pre-owned vehicles on the web. When our listeners go to our website, CoonsBaltimoreFord.com, they will see all of the outstanding values we have to offer. That's Coons Ford of Baltimore, 6970 Security Boulevard, across from Security Square Mall. Remember, when you're talking cars, you're talking Coons.
Call 410-298-3800.
Dr. Gaber and Associates is more than an internal medicine practice. Both offices are completely equipped with physical therapy services run by an experienced staff of registered physical therapists, Elliot Weiner, Mark Smearman, and Ken Miller. They treat arthritis, sports, auto or work injuries, post-op conditions, and more. After an initial evaluation, a treatment program is individualized and can include modalities such as neuromuscular reeducation, ultrasound, muscle stimulation, traction, work conditioning, and balance training. Don't forget it's flu season, and flu shots are now recommended for all age groups, including healthy, low-risk persons. And there's more. Dr. Gaber's practice does not have the dreaded voicemail. You will always talk to a friendly staff member. So if you are in need of a private physician, call 410-986-4400 for Dr. Gaber's office at 341 Calvert Street and 410-653-8840 for the office at 1838 Green Tree Road in Pikesville. Easy parking at both locations. The therapy office is open Saturdays 9 to 1, and Dr. Gaber accepts nearly all insurances.
Play 8 great courses for just $99 total, including the Bridges, Westminster National, the Chesapeake Bay Golf Club Northeast Course, and South Hills. Log on to 1057thefan.com and click on the Players Club banner.
Hi, this is Randy Etzel, head football coach at the University of Maryland. You're listening to Terp Talk.
This is Coons Ford Terp Talk. Call 410-481-1300 now. Once again, here's Bruce Posner.
All right, back here on segment 3, our final segment tonight of Coons Ford Terp Talk. And some bad news yesterday for the basketball team, as if they haven't had any other, but this was certainly not good news. Trayvon Reed had a fractured ankle. Maryland men's basketball coach Mark Turgeon announced on Tuesday that freshman center Trayvon Reed has been diagnosed with a fractured right ankle. The injury was evaluated during his pre-participation physical, and the fracture was discovered at that time. He's going to miss 8 to 12 weeks but the injury will not require surgery, which is good news. Listen, this kid's from Georgia. He's a 4-star prospect and ranked in the top 100 of major recruiting outlets, including Scout, Rivals, and 247sports.com. So tough news for the Terps on that one. Good news, on the other hand, was the signing of transfer Robert Carter Jr. This kid's the real deal. We've all seen him play for Georgia Tech. He originally considered Maryland, but decided on Georgia Tech. And who knows? I mean, he saw playing time at Georgia Tech. He did great, just like Seth Allen did here, but he opted for greener pastures. And whereas, in my opinion, Seth Allen opted for obscurity down in Virginia Tech. I don't understand this almost like new thought process of go where you want to go whenever you want to go, and there's just no more loyalty. You know, it's funny, I had a picture of Trayvon Reed with Turgeon, and there's no doubt this kid's 7 foot. All right, there's no doubt that he's a 7-footer. He towers over Turgeon, who's probably around 5'10", 5'11". If you listen to the Sports Maven on Saturday, I made a couple of predictions that looked pretty good. Number one, I guaranteed, sort of, that California Chrome would not win the Belmont. And I knew it, and it was not a thought in my mind. It's going to take a super horse to win all 3 races. They're too close together, and too many horses just sit back and aim for the Belmont because it's a big purse. I mean, let's be real. And when you have horses waiting for 5-6 weeks at a venue for the 3rd race, and here's California Chrome coming 3 weeks after the Preakness and 2 weeks after the most hyped and grueling, one of the most grueling races there is, and that's the Kentucky Derby, these horses are just out of gas. They just don't have it to go that kind of distance. Now, I do believe that Victor Espinoza might have got him trapped in too much mud. They said the horse didn't like to run with mud in his eye. Then again, who does? And it could have, possibly cost him the race. But it just looked from the get-go that he didn't have the electricity to get this thing done. It just seemed like it wasn't going to happen, and it didn't. And then I not boldly, but I soundly predicted, and I really believe this with all my heart, that San Antonio is going to take LeBron down. This is no reflection on LeBron. LeBron is still the best, my eyes, the best who's ever played. But San Antonio has just got too much going for it. That game the other night, 41 points in the first quarter against the Trish, you look like you're dying to say something. What do you want to say? Okay, all right. I thought you were like insulted that I insulted the Heat, but look, the Heat's great, and Bosch had a great second game. What a phenomenal play he made toward the end of the game to put it on ice. But when all is said and done, with Ginobili and Parker and Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard, this team has got too much for the Heat. Yeah, Ray Allen is great, but he's older. He might play well, he might not. And all of a sudden, Dwayne Wade's starting to look older. I don't know that if the Heat can put together 4 wins against this team, although I promise you Game 4 will not be as one-sided as Game 3 was. I've never seen a team come out and play like San Antonio. 71 points in the first half in this day and age is absolutely incredible. There was no way that he could come back. And they did cut it to 7 or whatever. But when you're up by 20 and you cut something to 7, you got a long way to go to get even. And the Heat's just too strong. And they split up Duncan and Thiago Splitter. And the rest was history in that they were much quicker in getting to Bosch. They were chasing that ball around much, much better. So hats off to them. And, of course, Monday begins the World Cup. Jurgen Klinsmann has gone on record saying that he doesn't think it's possible for the USA to win the World Cup. And he's just telling the truth. Maybe he's lowering the expectations, but when you analyze it, doesn't seem possible for them to win. Can they get out of that bracket? That's going to be tough enough. Having to play Ghana and Portugal, and they might luck out if Germany has already got it cinched. That third game against Germany on the 22nd, maybe they play their second string. Maybe they don't go all out when the USA is obviously going to have to put up some kind of performance in that game. But I think things will be decided really the first game. They must beat Ghana. There's no way that they can lose to Ghana again and make the tournament. It just almost can't happen. So they've been knocked out the last 2 times by Ghana. But this time it's got to go the other way. And then, of course, on the following Sunday, they face the great Ronaldo from Portugal, and who's been actually built a rainforest in his house because the temperatures are supposed to be up or over 100 degrees for that game 2 in one of the Brazilian cities. Should be interesting. I do know this, 2 Terps in the game for the USA, and that, of course, is Omar Gonzalez and Graham Soucy. And Graham Soucy will play. Omar Gonzalez's game, from what I understand, has been in a bit of a funk, and we would not expect to see him play much. So we're going to see Graham Soucy. We might see Omar Gonzalez at 6'6" in there on some corner kicks if the game is close and the USA needs to score. But right now it doesn't look like it. But Soucy's been a great setup guy. And, of course, the USA is playing without Landon Donovan, which, surprises a lot of people. Myself included. We talked about Mike Chanachuk debuted in the MLL and combined with Ryan Young, another ex-Terp, to score 5 times and defeat Denver, okay? But we should note that Jesse did not play for Denver and ended, I think, a 25-game win streak. Drew Snyder and Jeremy Sieverts each scored 3 times for Denver. Terps everywhere in the MLL, and certainly I'm sure Coach Tillman is out there, as always, recruiting like he loves to do, and I guess we'll see what happens. Joe Walters comes back to the Bayhawks at home. He played last week, but Joe led the Rochester Nighthawks to their 3rd straight championship, having a goal and 2 assists in a 10-minute period for the Nighthawks to win 3-2. So when Joe Waters is on the field, you know you got a great chance. Some other news around the horn, of course. Can you imagine what happened with Manny this past weekend? I had talked to a few people about it, and it seemed to me that the Orioles have been getting thrown at left and right, and maybe Manny, when they threw at his knee, the frustrations got to him. But the tag that was put on him by Donaldson, I'm not so sure that caused the kind of reaction that he had. And most national media really believe he got off easy with a 5-game suspension that he has appealed, as they always do. I think one of the reasons he appealed is because they're playing the Red Sox and Toronto this weekend. So they've got to, you don't want to lose him for those games. I'm not sure how the appeals process works, but I do know that they'll come down with a fast decision. And once the decision's made, then he's out for whatever length of time. Maybe he can get it reduced by 1 game or whatever. I don't know. But I guess we'll see what happens there. And once again, going back to this past weekend, all we can say is hats off to the baseball team. Coach John Sheff just did an incredible job. And it's funny, I was talking with my buddy Michael Ginsberg, and he said the thing that was amazing about the Terps in these games, while they're on the field, you just kind of felt there was a way they were going to find out to win. You just had a new confidence that you've never had it. Mike played ball for the Terps way back, probably a good, I would guess, 12 years ago. I'm guessing that he's about 35, might be older. And has always followed the team. And it was amazing, especially that Saturday game. They won 5-4 after an incredible play by Charlie White in the first inning. Bases loaded, catches a line drive, and somehow or another the runner stumbled or had to go back and tag the bag, and they got the guy at the plate. And 5 runs later, Maryland's up, and they just held on for a great win. And what a great season for John Sheff. When you analyze Maryland's year and you take away the disappointment in basketball, Randy Edsall got to a bowl game, albeit they lost to Marshall, the Military Bowl. And then you start with the non-revenue sports, and it's almost incredible how they did. Brenda got to the Final Four of women's basketball before they lost to Notre Dame. And on a similar note, the soccer team got to the national championship before they lost to Notre Dame. The men's lacrosse team got to the Final Four in Baltimore before they lost to Notre Dame. The women's lacrosse team all the way, national championship. Taylor Cummings, Tewarton Award winner. Just miraculous. And now they have, from what I understand, another super duper star coming from McDonough. Megan Whittle. The things I've heard about her are unbelievable as a player. Probably be put right into the offense on the attack, but really don't know. And they still have Kelly McPartland, so many players coming back. And field hockey got to the semis. And wrestling had a guy that almost won the national championship, came in second. It goes on and on for the non-revs. And so what are they really? Well, Randy has somewhat turned the corner. When basketball turns the corner, which is truthfully one of the 2 featured sports at Maryland, many would say it's the sport at Maryland. A lot of football people would argue with that, but certainly one of the 2. And when this turns, Maryland will enter the Big Ten with a great hurrah. Again, go to umterps.com or go to terptalk.com, my website. You'll find out about all the activities welcoming Maryland into the Big Ten on the 30th and the 1st. The Big Ten Network will have a full day of Maryland sports on the 1st, I believe. I'll check that out and publish it. And the events are just incredible, and they're starting to paint the logos. I think we'll be hit with a barrage of new clothing, a new Under Armour stuff for the entrance into the Big Ten. And it will be an exciting time at Maryland leading up to the first football game of the year, and certainly leading up to the first conference game of the year at College Park. Good things are happening, and overall it was a great year in the Capital Sports Cup. I think the men were 5th, the women were 3rd on the heels of that national championship, and overall just a great year. A lot of guys from the lacrosse team into the MLL right away, playing professional ball, getting paid for their efforts finally, and of course Sasha, I know, is excited about the World Cup, very excited. I heard a lot of experts pick the U.S. to come in second. I can't. I'm not a buyer right now. I think if they defeat Ghana, I think their chances are great. I really believe that, to come in second and move on. Where they can go from there, who knows? But to get into the, they call it the group of death, was not a lucky break, almost like the Maryland baseball team having to travel to Virginia, number 3 ranked team in the country, to try and move on. It was a tall task. They gave it a great battle. Hats off to John Sheff, the entire athletic staff, the entire team mainly. And we wish Jake Stinnett the best of luck with the Chicago Cubs. He's a second-round draft pick, the 45th player taken. And just remember, Virginia, I think, had 3 taken in the first round. So there was a gap there, but Maryland's on its way. But one thing's for sure, starting next year, we're not going to be playing ACC teams for a long time. The ban's in effect. You can see it. Soccer teams, 0 games. I know the lacrosse teams will be most likely a boycott. Football, they do play Syracuse. That was prearranged. Basketball, they play Virginia at home in the Big Ten Challenge. But I'm telling you, we're not going to see the ACC for a while. Good riddance and good night. This is Bruce Posner. I won't miss the ACC. I sure hope you won't. We'll be on the Sports Maven this Saturday at 9 a.m. here on CBS Sports Radio 1300.
CBS Sports Radio 1300 with Baltimore's homegrown radio every weeknight. Monday night from 6 to 8. It's the Coach's Buzz with Coach Buzz Battaglia talking local sports. Tuesday night at 6. It's the AHA Business Radio Show with Alan Hirsch. Wednesday night at 6. It's Turf Talk with Bruce Posner. Thursday night at 6. It's the Booker Corrigan Sports Show. And Friday nights at 6. Hang out on the corner with Gil Cuda Jr. Baltimore's homegrown radio every weeknight on CBS Sports Radio 1300.
Kelly Exchange is your one-stop shop for individual and family health insurance coverage. On KellyExchange.com, you can learn about healthcare reform, find out if you qualify for a subsidy, get quotes, compare insurance plans, and purchase coverage. With over 36 years of experience in the insurance industry, KellyExchange.com is the only website you need to help you navigate the complexities and confusion of healthcare reform and purchase quality insurance for you and your family. Visit KellyExchange.com today. Cunningham's, part of the Bagby chain, the newest restaurant in town at One Olympic Place in Towson. Free valet parking, open every night. The food there is fantastic. I've been there. Decor, the whole atmosphere at Cunningham's is super. I highly, highly recommend it. But of course, when it's part of the Bagby chain and the Smith family, you know it's going to be a success. 410-339-7730. That's Cunningham's at One Olympic Place in Towson. The Comans Brothers and Superior Tours. $32 to either the Trop or Caesar's Palace, and you get $30 back. It only costs you a deuce to go to AC. $63 round trip to New York City for a one-day trip. You got to go and come back the same day, but it only costs $63. You can't beat that. 410-602-1704. That's Superior Tours and the Comans Brothers. 410-602-1704. Mark Abman and Abman's Delicatessen have been serving Baltimore for over 81 years. It's just a fact that Abman's, open 7 days a week at 1019 East Lombard Street, has the best corned beef and deli in town. But now they've expanded into the catering side. Have a Lombard Street party or use Abman's for your condolence trays. Check it out on abmansdeli.com or call 410-563-2666. and ask for Elaine. I love Atman's Deli. The newest of the 3 Bagby restaurants has just opened, and everyone is raving about Fleet Street Kitchen. Fleet Street Kitchen specializes in an organic menu, and all of its food comes locally or from nearby areas. The veggies are all from Cunningham Farms. Blake Smith and his dad, David, have created a magnificent trio of 3 adjacent restaurants. Bagby's Pizza's 1010, and now on 1012 Fleet Street, the Fleet Street Kitchen. Call 410-244-5830 for a reservation, and remember, there is free valet parking on weekends.
Access Title Company, LLC, brings to you experience, relationship, and peace of mind. All great reasons to choose Access Title Company as your residential and commercial real estate settlement company. Choosing a reputable, experienced title company is crucial to a smooth settlement process. Our staff of attorneys and experienced personnel is committed to helping you through the complete process with personal attention, competitive rates, and prompt service. Access Title Company goes anywhere in the state of Maryland to perform your settlement at no additional cost to you. That's why we're Access Title. Please call Melanie, our operations manager, at 410-363-8785 for additional information. That's Access Title Company at 410-363-8785.
It's my pleasure to welcome the Supreme Neighborhood Market Gourmet again to the TerpTalk family. Now under the new ownership of Andy Huffman, Gourmet again on 3717 Old Court Road continues its tradition of being a specialty food market with all meals, soups, and sandwiches being homemade. My family and all of Northwest Baltimore knows that Gourmet again is the best market around. Let Gourmet again cater any party or special occasion that you are having. I absolutely love Gourmet again. Call 410-484-9393. Gourmet Again is open 7 days a week. Visit them on the web at gourmetagain.com. The phone number, once again, 410-484-9393. That's Gourmet Again.
The opinions expressed in the preceding paid program do not necessarily represent those of WJZ AM 1300, CBS Radio, its employees and sponsors. CBS Sports Radio 1300 is WJZ AM Baltimore, WJZ FM HD3 Catonsville, Baltimore. Live sports talk 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Your home for the new CBS Sports Radio.